What we're going to do, I'm one of the talk.
Lefty Lucy.
Righty tight.
Thank you. I don't do this stuff. All right. So what we're going to do now, or we'll continue doing now, is some further stories. I've got one I'm going to read. Peter Johnson has one he's going to read. Then we're going to have Dave Plater come up and describe one of his literary endeavors, which has amazed us for years. This one. I actually printed it really large so I could read it. I really don't know how to describe this, what I've got. It's more of a poem, but it's prose, so, prose poem. Comes out of a time that I was living down in Mexico. It's called Las Varas. Varas. She died, and they went to bury her. Her home lay bleached and white at the far end of the valley, in Las Varas. An hour's jouncing ride in the old Jeep, a full day's walk. Santana did not own a horse or a car, so the gringo drove. They made the same slow journey the week before, following the night-born news that she was ill and that the sun, the grown, powerful, purposeful sun, should come. They found her dying in her bed in her small house on the side of the hill. The family gathered about, laughing in low tones on the doorstep, grieving in the candlelight, nodding to the stranger. From her bed, she greeted the gringo, smiled, took his hand. "You live with my son," she said, softly, gently. He nodded, murmuring in the quiet, not wanting to disagree. The other woman smiled, led the gringo away. Santana talked with the men and with his sisters, and the gringo stood with them in the half-darkness. "Can I take her to the hospital?" the gringo asked, an interloper from the north. "No, do no good. She'll die. The hospital can't change it." Silence then and a pause. And who would pay? Santana stared into the gloom of the hut. No one. On that first ride to see the mother, in the dusk just outside Watates, the tree frogs had sung in chorus in the night, had sung deep-throated, echoing their mating in death chants, invisible in the green gloom of the swampy cut. The men had listened, moved in the quiet, as the Jeep rolled slowly in the jungle track. Very poisonous, very beautiful. Frogs, he laughed, unbelieving. The gringo didn't understand then about death. When they arrived for the burial, other men had already begun digging. 6 men, 3 shovels. They all drank tequila in the morning haze. They dug in a field of mounds, taking turns, sometimes slow, sometimes vicious with raw feeling in the gathering heat. Santana dug. He came to the gringo to say that the digging would take all day. The gringo shouldn't wait. "Can I help?" "She's my mother," he shrugged. He returned to the men, the ferocious, slow, silent men. And that night, as they drove slowly home down the half-hidden ruts of the valley road, as the children and the neighbors and Santana and the gringo all crowded into the creaking, jolting Jeep, worn from the day, thin from the heat, Santana continued to drink, as did Nicho. The children clamored for the theater in Watates, and the men agreed it would be wise. Long day, a respite. Santana said nothing, stared straight ahead. The fleas drove the adults from the theater, and the gringo found Nicho, the neighbor, happily drunk on the broken sidewalk of the village square. His eyes shone bright as he tried and half succeeded to put his arm around the waist of Santana's eldest daughter. She laughed and pushed him away. She from the capital, dressed in a sweater that fit closely. He back from the north with money from his labors, with ideas too large. They shone brightly in the dance of the eternal. And Santana drank tequila in the Jeep, only to stride abruptly away into the dark. "You didn't like the movie?" Nicho laughed. "Fleas. You see him, Kana? Gringo. Can't take fleas." The gringo leaned against the car, searching for Santana, and he was gone in the darkness. The door to the bar banged open then, and 3 youths slouched out into the street. They all eyed Kana in her tight-fitting sweater and moved more slowly. Nicho stepped between the group and the girl. and drank again from the tequila in the near empty bottle. "Chavalita," said one. "You want to dance?" "Come with me," said another. Kana did not answer. She stared boldly at the group, flaming with knowledge. Nietzsche said slowly with purpose, "Go." The boys grinned hard. "We have nowhere to go. We live here." To Kana, the boy said, "Just around the corner. Come." She turned beneath the glare of the bar sign. "Not beautiful, but sure." "Go," said Nietzsche to the boys again, deliberately drinking. The group hesitated, then turned to wander further on. Muttered Nietzsche, turning back to the woman and the gangly gringo by the car in the dark of the day of the burial. And the boy's knife slid with a sickening, distinct metallic click into deadliness. Nietzsche froze. Then softly, turning back to the trio, he asked, "Que traes? What have you got?" The blade gleamed dully in the glare. A little something, Nietzsche sang. A little something, the youth mimicked. Nietzsche shattered the tequila bottle on the sidewalk, neck and ragged shards dripping with venom. Come for me, he begged, he crouched. He circled with death in the air, with stillness all about, with blood on his wrist on a night when the children laughed in the movies, and Santana sat drunk in the dark, and the men dug ferociously, then slowly, and passed the bottle between them, and Nietzsche broke it on a sidewalk in Matates. The gringo pushed Nietzsche into the Jeep, waiting every second for the boy from Matates to stab him from behind, to push him bleeding into the street in the dark. And Nietzsche resisted, wanting to fight, and Kana didn't want to go. And Santana had fallen asleep in the weeds, and the children didn't want to leave, and the mother helped the gringo gather them all. And Nietzsche, as they drove, kept saying, "Why did you stop me? Why did you stop me?" While outside, the tree frogs' chorus echoed in the So that was Las Varas. We're going to change tone a little bit.